When I criticize the Catholic faith and I say that it's founded on flawed philosophy, I speak from experience. 32 years of my life, I was Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I went to high school and would debate Protestants and other religions about Catholicism. And as far as the arguments that it provided in that religious arena of debate, it seemed to make the most sense. It had the longest history. And so for basically my life, my mindset was until I find a religion that has that much history, makes that much sense, I'm Catholic, right? And then I experienced near-death experiences. I myself have not had a near-death experience, but excuse me, on the internet, I found people that have had experiences where they cross over after having a heart attack or some tragedy. They end up in the hospital. They get resuscitated. They come back with this experience from the other realm. And in that research, I found the idea of a pre-birth contract. The idea that before you came to this realm, you as an individual kind of planned out the major components of your life, the major struggles, the major experiences that you wanted to experience. And so it was this idea that this life serves a purpose, and it's not just this test, and it's not just this you're not a victim of circumstance. You actually took part in deciding what you were going to experience in this realm. And when I heard that, I really liked the idea. It's called the pre-birth contract. And what's crazy is from that day forward, my life changed. I used to go into the office day in and day out, and there were certain people that were just not good people. And so they'd feed me, they'd be a headache towards me, I'd be a headache back to them, and it was just always this back and forth bickering. And that next day, I'm telling you, the next day, I went back into that office, and now I looked at those people that I used to fight with every day, and I told myself, I had convinced myself, I just actually was at the point of entertaining the idea. What if this is the nature of reality? What if we really do come here for a purpose, and these people that have been put in our lives and these experiences have actually been designed have been guided in this life by the unseen realm, angels, God. And from that day forward, I was loving to that individual because I knew that individual, or I believed that individual was an individual that I decided to be in my life for me to learn how to love them. And the effect that had on me was so profoundly impactful that to this day, since that day, I have never changed my mind. And I've thought deeply about it in my spiritual endeavor. Does it not make sense? Could another sort of worldview, let's call it, make more sense? I'm open to that, But this view makes sense. And when I say it makes sense, what I mean is it implies a degree of ownership. So you are no longer that victim of circumstance. You own the experience that you have here. And you see all of the obstacles and all of the people that are opposed to you and harm you and treat you like crap day in and day out. You now, instead of seeing those people as just headaches and with even if you're loving to them, for most people that are religious, they'll just avoid those people. But with this idea of the pre-birth contract, you now see those people every single time as obstacles that you decided to put in your life. And that has a profound impact on how you digest the struggle of dealing with them. Now, when you encounter those people, you are more positive. You are more loving because it's now not about dealing with the situation. Now it's about making the most of the opportunity that you yourself helped construct. So you own it. And your actions are now more proactive. They're more reasonable and compassionate and calculated and aware that you shouldn't be reactive to this negativity. You should be aware that this negativity is it is a test for you, but not a test that you embark on or that you approach with fear. No, this is a test that you're just aware that you have wanted this. Your higher self, the spiritual essence of yourself, planned this for you. And so this is the problem with religion, is that for 32 years of my life, I was in and out of the confessional. I go out, deal with crappy people, treat them like crap to whatever degree. I would always try to treat them nicely, treat them with love and respect. But I was always back in the confessional after I wasn't happy with my actions. And it's just this vicious cycle, because that mentality is one of, well, I just sinned. I just behaved in a way that I'm not proud of, that I don't believe is ultimately good, and I can do better. And so there's that negativity, and then you come back out and you try again. But again, we're talking about at the workplace environment when you're already stressed. These people are hard to deal with. We all know these people. Some of us are these people. We all have our day. But what I'm getting at is that is a philosophy that is built into the Catholic Church. So they've created this practice of confession. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for spiritual guidance. I'm all for confessing your sins, as in communicating your flaws and communicating your struggles to other human beings, vocalizing it, like, putting it into reality in the form of discourse between you and another individual that is here to help you. And I'm okay with that being a Catholic priest. I'm okay with the very deepest core layer of the purpose of confession. Although many people would disagree with me on that. They'll tell me, well, that's not the purpose of confession. It's to confess your sins so that God can absolve you of your sins. And that's the problem, is that philosophy, that practice, that sacrament doesn't actually lead me to becoming the best version of myself that prevents me from committing those same sins over and over and over. So it's just a never-ending spiral of feeling like you could have done better, feeling like crap, like God's not happy with you, going and confessing your sins, and then going back out and doing the same thing again. But with this idea of the pre-birth contract, this might be the first time you've ever heard of this idea. It's the idea that before we come into this realm as eternal beings, we have a say, like we take part in what it is in this life we want to experience in certain ways. And this may be the type of person you marry, this may be your family, this may be the key friends, the key job, your career circumstances, the people in those careers. If you genuinely believe, or if you just even entertain the idea that these people are not just circumstances in your life that you're called to make the most, no, you literally put them in your life. That means when you pass away and you cross over and you have your life review and you relive it, just as the near-death experiences say that we do, you're going to be disappointed in yourself when you find out that all of your struggles in life, at least the big ones, you failed yourself. This life is difficult. This life is long. Like, to find out that you took this dive into this realm for the give or take 100 years, and this was something you helped construct in the way that you have experienced it. When you find out that you took part in that, it's going to be more powerful than an external force judging you. In light of the truth that you took part in this, you're going to be disappointed with yourself. You're going to judge yourself. You're going to be the most upset with your performance in this experience. And that changes you. That has a profound change in your mind, and you start to see the world differently with a degree of ownership now. It goes from, the Catholic Church will teach you a fear-based mentality that, oh, you're here on this earth and you should be afraid of going to hell, and you should be afraid of not doing what's right, and whenever you do what's wrong, go back, confess it, and what you find out, you're just constantly trying not to do what's wrong. And you never grow. And if you do, sure, there are some people that grow. I'm not saying it's the worst model in the world. It's a decent model to live your life by. It's an okay practice, but there's a better one. And this better one I have experienced personally. And I'm not just saying that like I slightly became a better person. No, I'm talking about night and day. To this day and for the rest of my life, when you see the world through this lens, there is not a single obstacle and there's not a single crappy person that you will struggle with on a regular basis. There obviously none of us are perfect. There's still those situations where they catch you off guard and you react and you treat them not lovingly. That's going to happen. But on a regular basis, your family, your friends, your network, your coworker, all those people, once you adopt this idea or you just entertain the idea that I chose this for myself and this is a struggle, but it's an opportunity for me to make the most of, you will approach it differently and you will see the results. You will find that it is a better philosophy to have. It is, in my experience, the best philosophy to have. Not one of like a slave to a master of the universe where you're just the victim of circumstances and it's your job to try your best. No, you're part of the process of creation as it pertains to your experience in your life. And what you'll find is you will start to own your life, even for the circumstances that are out of your control. Why? Because you believe now that they're not out of your control. In fact, they are explicitly within your control, and this is what you decided for yourself. This goes for all sorts of suffering, whether it's your condition, your experience, the list goes on. Whatever it is that you don't like about your life, the most important thing is that you own it with a sense of having taken part in designing it this way for the experience. And once you do that, you will begin to understand what I mean by there are flawed philosophies or there are sound philosophies, and then there are unsound philosophies. There are good philosophies and bad philosophies. And this philosophy, I would love for it to be adopted by the Catholic Church. I would love it. I myself would love to be a part of the Catholic Church. I was raised that way. I do believe that, or I used to believe that there was this divine intervention within the Catholic Church, and I still do. I believe that the Catholic Church was for the purpose of these 2,000 years. But now I believe that humanity is awakening and humanity is transitioning to a way of life that transcends this reliance on authority, this appeal to authority, this idea that we need these hierarchical structures, these institutionalized religions, and their flawed philosophies and their low vibration and frequency, negative, energetic premises that are built into the foundation of them, like us being born in original sin, us lacking in that we need to be baptized, or we need to do this ritual, or we need to do that ritual, or we need to be afraid of not going to church, or we need to be afraid of what our discernment tells us is the true faith. Like all of these things are they're imaginary. Whether or not they were intentionally made to be this way, who knows what the people at the top of these institutions know and believe about the nature of reality. That's for a separate video, but I just want to end by saying this is a prime example. And this is what gives me the conviction, provides me the conviction that I have to do the work that I do and to to bring this perception, this mentality, this way of life to the public sphere. And it's been through many synchronicities and personal revelations. I've come to call this the Raise Our Awareness Revolution, because the past thousands of years we have followed the shepherds, we have followed the authorities, we've obeyed, we've come to understand the nature of this reality through the lens of what they told us we need to. And then they've laid fear underneath that at the foundation of why we should believe that, and other negative energetic thought forms. And I have a vision of a world that those beliefs don't exist. And all of the division in religion and the endless debate and the judgment of other human beings. No, the future of humanity is we recognize that we are all one human family. And as energetic spiritual beings, no one cares about what we think inside our head. What we care about is how your energy interacts with other people's energy. This is why Jesus said, how you treat others is how you treat God. And if you look at life through that lens, then you will make the most of this world. And so, this is the Raise Our Awareness Revolution, the Great Awakening, humanity's roar. And I'm Da Vinci the Truth, and I look forward to making more content and bringing the world together. And I love all of you. God bless. Take care.